All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start by giving all the praise, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world calls God. Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutation as always to the elect, scattered abroad, to you, Akim, pushing his word in truth and in sincerity, as well as you few sincere Akwat that are listening and learning in silence. To you all that say Shalom. It's your fellow servant Malachiah, back with another lesson, Lord willing, and be edifying to the hopeful elect. And as you can see from the illustration, all right, it says FEMA with a guillotine in the back. All right, this is going to be the reality of many of us in this truth here in these last days, because as it says in Revelation 12:12, the devil has come down unto you having great wrath because he know that he have but a short time. Okay, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he knows that his time is running short. And what do I mean by his time is running short? His time to rule, okay, his kingdom is literally crumbling right before our very eyes. Okay, he doesn't have much time left to be in a ruling seat, okay, because the kingdom that's up next is the kingdom of the Israelites, man, where the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are going to be in rulership. All right, we know that it says in Proverbs 29:2, when that when the wicked beareth rule, the earth mourns. Excuse me. And right now the earth is mourning, man. All right, that's why when you go to Isaiah the 24th chapter, it says the mirth of the land is gone. All right, things aren't the same anymore, man. All right, because the times are waxing old, and the iniquity is abounding at a rapid rate. It's because of who's in rulership right now, the so-called white man. Job 9:24 says the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. So therefore, with the wicked, bearing rule in the earth, all types of unrighteous decrees are going to be brought forth. Okay, and one of the main unrighteous decrees that he's going to try to get the whole world to, succumb to is taking this microsia. Okay, and by doing that, you're basically showing your allegiance. All right, you're giving your allegiance to the beast. All right, so that's why it's imperative to trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in his last days, because they're gonna they're gonna try to force a circumstance, a situation, a condition, on the people, basically to back them in a corner, to put them in a desperate situation, to where they're gonna have to depend on the government. They're gonna have to depend on taking this microchip in order to basically be safe, in order to be able to eat, in order to have somewhere to stay, to lay their heads. Okay, that's exactly why the times to come are described as the hour of temptation, because he's gonna make it tempting. He's gonna try to bribe you. He's gonna try to coerce you into taking this technology, all right, this device the size of a grain of rice. Okay, and the spirit has brothers going into this thing, week in and week out, this non-stop sounding the alarm about this microchip technology. Okay, and if you're a prophet, if you're a shepherd, a watchman, all right, whatever you label yourself as, all right, if you go out into the highways and byways, if you do lessons, all right, you should be warning about this thing nonstop. There shouldn't be any crickets, all right, coming from you other camps or you other brothers that are, like I said, so-called watchmen, prophets, shepherds. Okay, the true men of the Lord are going to be sounding the alarm constantly about these prophecies, man, and nothing else. Okay, that's why we always preach about the simplicity in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. A lot of people get caught up in the simplicity of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai because they think the truth is too boring, or they think there's not enough spark in this. It's not supposed to be, man. What we're dealing with is life or death. Okay, it's very serious. This is a very serious matter. So when, we're on our watchtower, we should be watching 24/7. We should be sounding the alarm 24/7 about the impending doom, about the impending danger that we see. And, the impending danger that we see is this micro C-Hip, man. Okay? A lot of these guys are now warning their congregations about this technology. A lot of these guys don't even agree that, this is the MOTB. And my thing is, it's one thing to not believe that it's the mark of the beast. Okay? But you still can, make it known that it shouldn't be taken. Okay? If you're not going to teach that it's not the mark of the beast, at least tell your congregation not to take it. All right, but anyway, like I said, the true men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua are going to be standing 10 toes when it comes to all prophecies, man. Going into all the breakdowns, going into all the things that's happening upon the earth, all right? Because it's hard to ignore, what direction this thing is going. There's plenty of flags showing you that the RFID micro C-Hip is the MOTB and is getting ready to be ushered in very soon. The fact that Elon Musk, all right, which is the face of Neuralink, okay, which is the brain chip, him being in the White House is enough, man. Is enough right there to show you that all roads are going to lead to this thing. All right. But with us knowing this, we should be preparing ourselves, like preparing our minds for what's to come. Because it could be in our lot to end up in the FEMA camp. It could be in our lot to be snatched up and be faced, with the decision to, take the C-Hip and show your allegiance to the beast system, or, deny it and be beheaded, man. Okay? And I want to go into a couple scriptures, for exhortation, man. All right, for us Akim and Akwaf that's been in this thing, and for the new brothers and new sisters that are coming into this thing, man. Okay, don't get faint in those times of trouble. Okay, we can't get faint. We got to be faithful unto death, because for a lot of us, that's what it's going to come to. And us knowing that this thing is coming, the water Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for him bestowing the understanding and the spirit upon us to be aware of these things and what's coming. Okay, so in a way, like I always say, we can't completely 100% prepare for what's coming, because there's going to be a time like there's never been before. But in a way, we can prepare our minds and our spirits to the best of our ability, okay, for what's coming, man. Okay, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to step in and guide us and do the rest, man. Okay, but the scripture says be faithful unto death. Okay, because a lot of us are going to be faced with that. All right, knowing what's to come, like I said, we should be preparing ourselves now, man. Okay, the scripture says the devil shall cast on you into prison, which goes to show you that the devil is not a red man under the ground with a damn pitchfork. Okay, it's Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, as it says in Revelation 12:12, like I mentioned earlier, the devil has come down upon you having great wrath. That's why he's passing all of these unrighteous decrees. That's why he's signing all of these executive orders, okay, and just causing mayhem right now. All right, so with that being said, let's get right into it. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. All right, it didn't say which thou might suffer, which thou could suffer. It says which thou shalt suffer, meaning we're going to suffer, man, in those times. All right, but for the sake of something good, something far more imaginable that we can think of, man, being that incorruptible crown. You see, it says, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, that's what we're fighting for. Okay, even in the times now, man. Okay, we got to remember what we're fighting for. We can't get faint because we're going through a little adversity. We're going through a little hardship. Okay, I just made a lesson going into that furnace of affliction. Of course, it hurts because it's supposed to, man. Okay, but the times that we're in right now, is nothing compared to the times that's getting ready to come upon us. So think of that, man. All right, so if you feel weak, you feel like you're about to fall out, you feel like you can't take any more, all right, we haven't seen anything yet. All right, keep that in mind, man, and let that be a faith booster. Okay, we're getting ready to see some hard times, man. All right, but you know what? Yahweh Shem Shai is going to be our guide. All right, and also the knowledge and wisdom. That's why we should be storing up our treasures in heaven. We should be filling our vessels with the knowledge, wisdom, and the fear of Yahweh Shem Shai, man, because it says the fear, all right, is his treasure as well. All right, let's continue on this. It says, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. All right, so that's what is going to be rewarded to them, all right, who are faithful, even if some don't taste death. All right, which the scriptures say, many men won't taste death, man. But there's going to be many men who will, many women who will. Right, and if you go out, standing firmly for the name of Yahweh Shem Shai, all right, that's an honorable death. Okay, you don't want to go out as a unbeliever or somebody who really didn't have faith. Okay, you just die for no reason, man. Okay, if we get taken out, all right, we're gonna get taken out praising and calling on Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, Lord willing. This is Psalms 116 and verse 15. It says, precious in the sight of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is the death of his saints. All right, so that's why he says, be faithful unto death. All right, it pleases the Lord to see someone stand so firmly in his name that they're willing to die in his name. All right, to die for this thing, this truth, this ministry, this walk, this faith. All right, and we're willing to die for this thing, man. The Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shai continues to keep that spirit upon us. All right, because since we came into this truth, we've never felt, I'm going to speak for myself. I mean, I'm pretty sure, others feel the same, but, I can only speak for me. I've never felt so complete, okay? Coming into this truth, man, it completed me. It completed everything, I was open about, I was unsure about. Walking to and fro in life, not knowing the purpose of life, not having sense of self, not having knowledge of self, not having knowledge of my power, Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, there was something always missing, man. But coming into this truth, I found it. All right, and it completed me. The water Yahweh Shem Shai. So, this thing is worth giving my life for. We've already made our bodies a living sacrifice for the sake of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right? How much more, in these times to come? Especially knowing and understanding what's promised to them, who do die in the name of the Lord, man. All right? Let's go here. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 28. We were instructed to not fear what these devils can do to us, man. Okay? This is Matthew 10 and 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. All right? And that hell is going into a condition, all right? Not underground where eternal flame is going to, be lit forever. Okay, so we ought not to fear, okay, what these devils are going to do and try to do to us in these last days, man. Okay, we got to fear him that can kill us in the body and in the spirit. You see what I'm saying? So if we get snatched up, if it be not a lot to be brought into these FEMA camps, we still got to keep faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh that some kind of miraculous thing is going to take place. And if not, and if it's in our lot to be martyrs for Yahweh Shem Yahweh, that's even better, man. Okay, that's even better. We just read it in Psalms 116, that precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. All right? Best believe they have a special reward. Okay? Let's go here. This is Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with the Mashiach 1,000 years. All right? So like I said, man, that's precious, in the sight of the Lord, man. That, men rather had died than to conform to the beast. Okay? In the same spirit of the Maccabees brothers, man. Okay? When you go to, what's that? I believe it's 2nd Maccabees, the 7th chapter. Okay? They said they rather die than transgress, the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Yahushai bestows that same spirit upon us in these last days, man. All right? To not go for nothing. Like Jake saying in the world, I ain't going for shit, man. Okay? The elect are not going to go for that. It doesn't matter how tempting these devils are going to make it sound. No matter how much damn, deceitfulness they're going to bring about to convince people to take it. The elect are not going for it, man. All right? And that's what's going to make it that much more better, too, in the sight of the Lord, man. The majority of the world is going to take this shit. You're going to have a lot of damn jakes in the truth that take it, man. And that's the sad and harsh reality of it. What else you think is going to happen if their camp leader are not telling them how imperative it is to not take it? The camp leaders aren't even teaching about it. The camp leaders don't even believe that this thing is coming. All right? So like I said, the harsh and the sad reality of it is you're going to have a lot of fringe t-shirt Israelites that's going to end up taking this thing, man. All right? Let's go here. This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 13. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. All right, so like I said, it's even better to go out being a martyr of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man, especially, if you had a good works that's going to follow you, man. All right, the Lord is going to account all of your labors. All right, so you didn't go out in vain. You didn't go out for no reason. Okay, you're going to have a special reward, and your special reward is being risen up first. All right, with the Yahushai, receiving those new bodies, man. All right, putting on that, that incorruptible. Let's go here. This is 1 Thessalonians 4 and verse 16. It says, for the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in the Mashiach shall rise first. All right, so that's going to be the reward for the elect who already died in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and then the rest that are remaining, they're going to be caught up too. Let's get it here. It says, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. Okay, so the elect, which are going to be the ones who didn't bow down to the beast, who didn't take his mark in their right hand or their forehead or anywhere, all right, for that matter. All right, they're going to be caught up in the chariots, all right, which are going to be the vehicles of salvation, as well as the vehicles of destruction for America, man. Okay, they're gonna come through and clean up shop. Okay, while the other nations are shooting missiles and annihilating America. Okay, you're gonna have the so-called UFOs, which are the chariots. They're gonna be melting shit too, man. All right. So, like I said, while the elect is caught up and that destruction is going on, those that took the mark, those that bowed and worshiped the beast, by conforming to the system, the New World Order, the New Age religion, the New Age currency. Okay, while you gave allegiance to Esau, your judgment is going to come by fire. All right, you're going to eat a nuke. So that's why it's imperative, man, right, to understand that the RFID micro CHIP is the mark of the beast, man. Okay, because this is going to be the reality of them that deny it. Okay, but guess what? Like I said, man, the Lord has a special reward waiting for them. A lot of people are going to lose faith. A lot of people are going to lose patience in the Lord, man, because they weren't preparing themselves. They weren't laying their treasures up in heaven. They were too busy, on side missions. They were getting stumbled up in the simplicity in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So therefore, this thing is going to come upon them unaware, and the Lord isn't going to have the spirit on them to understand, all right, until it's too late. That's all I got for this lesson, Lord willing. You were edified. See you brothers on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom.